Okay, I think we're going. How's everybody doing? I'm doing all right. I'm Nicodemus Kane. I am back once again for our weekly little talk. You'll have to forgive me. I was down here getting ready, getting prepared, and I had a sneezing fit. So, I may still have a sneezing fit, and I may still have to wipe my nose every now and then. Um, Sorry. I I had to do the old man thing and had to trim my nose hairs yesterday, so I knew it was going to come. That sooner or later it was just going to hit me. That I was just going to have a sneezing fit because it happens all the time. You know, you take your nose hairs out, and sure enough, so here I am. Now, if that didn't drive you away from watching the video, nothing will, right? Anyways, this is weekly. It's not really episodes. It's just a weekly talk that we have, where I come in here and I just talk about the world and things that I found. Different biblical things, different things that are happening. And boy, howdy, do we have a lot to talk about, right? Not really. I'm not going to spend too much time on what's happening right now. It is April the 4th of 2020, and you should know by now what's going on in the world. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm I am so over expressing my disgust and distaste for the people of this country and how they just rolled over and took it, and how they keep rolling over and taking more and more in terms of giving away our freedoms and giving away our rights. They now have you guys tattletelling on each other. They literally have hotlines up that you can call the cops and tell them that you see somebody outside doing something. That's sad, man. That's sad. It's World War II Nazi Germany. It's exactly what it is. It's 1984 taken to its worst degree, and you people fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And I don't know what else to say. I All I can do is sit here and work because I've been working from home. All I can do is sit here and work and listen to it. And I've had to take more breaks from listening to the nonsense going on than I've ever had to take in my entire life. I've almost completely stopped listening to YouTube because I just can't take it. It's just too much. Just the amount of crap day by day that I hear, I'm just like, it's what I've said somewhere before, that I know that there's somewhere in secrets, and I don't know anybody personally, so don't sit there and think that I know what it is and somebody's going to call the cops and they're going to come over here and try to bust me for anything. No, but I do know that there has to be some true patriots somewhere that are breaking the law and congregating together or talking or finding some way that they could get together, and they have to be planning. I have to hope that that's happening. I really do. I have to hope that that's happening. That there are true patriots that are getting together, similar to the Revolutionary War, where they are saying enough is enough and we have to do something about it. I have to hope that's happening, because if it's not happening, then we're truly lost. It's just all there is to it. We're truly lost, and it's just going to keep. We're just going to keep getting rolled over, and there's just going to be nothing left. So I just don't know what else to say about that. That's kind of why I said I can't really talk about it, because it's too ridiculous. The things that have been happening, it's just too absolutely ridiculous, and it blows my mind to hear people. It really does, to just hear them all, just say, "Oh no, you have to do this, you have to do that," and you go out into the world, and we've gone out, we've tried to go out several times, and just to see these people, just the fear in their eyes, the this just the blatant brainwashing that these people have gone through. It's insane. It's nuts, and it just, man, you people need to wake up. It's time. If you don't understand what's going on now, you're just you're going to lose everything. You're going to lose everything. These people are telling you that this is the new normal. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not allow them to dictate to you what normal is. That's just all I can say. Don't. Blows my mind. When I was a kid and we were taught, how people fought for their freedoms, fought for their rights, and all that, and we were taught a decent amount of distrust. Yeah, we were told, you have to prove it to yourself. You have to go out and make sure that you stand up for what's right, and you have to do this and you have to do that. And so I always had the feeling that, when it came time for the crazy crap like this to happen, that there would be people standing up, that there would be people that would be willing to fight if they saw something that wasn't right. And I think that has a lot to do with the brainwashing that occurred back in 2001. I really truly do. I think that traumatized people so much into allowing the brainwashing to happen. We talk about how 9/11 changed everything. Maybe it did. Maybe that was the ultimate sorcery spell that you know somehow managed to unlock whatever it is that they needed to unlock. I don't know. I don't know. All I can do is speculate. If you wonder what I'm looking at, this is my new. This is Sam Porter Bridges. This is Death Stranding. If you guys didn't know, this is Angie made this for me. I was sitting here playing with it. It's nice. It's neat. He's got a little backpack on. He's got a little beat right there. Sorry. This is why I didn't record anything last week. Well, part of the reason why I didn't record anything last week is because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to come on here and say because I'm just so, I don't know, man. I don't I it's like I said, I absolutely thought that when it came time for this to happen that there would be people that would be able to see through it and that they would fight. They would fight to, preserve what freedoms they have. But that's just not true. It's just not the case. And I sit back and look at it, and I'm just like, what the hell, man? What the hell? So I don't know. Um, yeah, I gotta wipe my nose. Sorry. It was bad sneezing too. I had like 6 in a row, and I was just like, man. And it was right as soon as I opened up my OBS. I was like, damn it. And here it comes. Um, so as far as anything biblically that's been happening this week, ooh. So it's been this really weird feeling over the past 2 weeks. Um, you can feel this kind of, and I've heard other people say this too. It's this kind of evil and just ugly feeling that's kind of permeated the air. Especially when you go outside and you talk to people. That back on there. There you go. That's my light right there. It's my TV. Um, but it's like this. People are getting pushy. People are getting suspicious. People are just getting just ugly. Is what they're doing, and you can feel it. It's just this negativity in the air, and it's not only that, but it's this level of this level of pride that's been hitting people. It's this level of lawlessness. It's this level of maliciousness. It's this level of well, especially around here, it's been this level of temptation and lust. Um, I mean, people outside of the house have just become like it's just this permeating feeling is what it is, and it's entered into the house here. I can attest to that 100%. We've had arguments and we've had fights and we've had this. I mean, what it's hard to keep a level head with all this stress that's coming on us. I have not been living in fear, but my anger has shot through the roof. There's been more than a couple times where I've come upstairs and I've just been like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to look at you. And it's just like, ugh. And then there's been this overwhelming feeling of just blah, you know. And I've been fighting with my own issues. It seems like there has been this. It just seems like we're being attacked. It's just, and every day I say this, that it just feels like there's just something that's attacking whatever is wrong with us. I have talked about it several times, and I am not afraid to talk about it, about my problems dealing with lust and temptation and my rabid porn addiction that I've gotten a lot better at. But unfortunately, over the past couple weeks, I've given into it. I admit that, and I ask forgiveness every day that it happens. And there's been days where I've woke up and I would come down to the table and I would talk to God and I would say, I don't know what's going on. It just feels sick and dirty in this house, and I don't. It's just I don't know. And I know we have Passover coming up soon. I think it's like 3 days, and we need to start cleaning out the house. I've been doing a little bit of it, trying to get some stuff out. Uh, at the same time, we've been talking about what are we going to do with food because we've been stockpiling food, getting ready for this, and we have a lot of food that has leavening in it, and I've already said, you know, we can't just throw all that out. We can't just get rid of it. Um, we unfortunately have somebody that lives in the house that doesn't believe in it. I don't know if she'll even partake in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I don't like it, but it is what it is, and it's it's just you have to deal with it how you deal with it, and I'm not gonna say hope for the best, but I have to pray on it and see how we're supposed to do it, what we're supposed to do, because it's not like I can just not like I can just stop, and just say, okay, get the hell out of my house, and then we just toss all this stuff out, and then I mean, I understand that God will provide whatever He needs to provide, and His plan for us is whatever His plan is for us. But you know, maybe I'm making too many butts. Hey, maybe that's my problem. and that's something I have to pray on. I haven't been able to focus on it because there's just, like I said, there's been so much other stuff to focus on, and that's why I have these talks is to help me kind of sit down and talk about these things. Does anybody listen? I don't know. If anybody's listening to this, then hey, there you go. You're listening to it, but that doesn't mean anything. Just trying to figure it out because I am literally so alone out here now. There's nobody. There's nothing. There was it was one thing whenever I got up in the mornings and I was able to go into work and there would be people there and there might be like one or two people that I talk to every day. Not like I have like actual full on conversations with them, but people I would talk to. But now it's like I am stuck inside of this weird man, I'm stuck inside of this weird echo chamber where I'm the only one that believes half the stuff I believe in. Uh, where my wife, she is stuck between me and her daughter is the exact opposite, and it's creating this. What do you want to call it? This like it's not a spiritual. It's just like it's creating a conflict of interest is what it is, and it's very disheartening that she doesn't have anywhere to go and we don't really have anywhere to go, and it's very hard to talk. It's very hard for all three of us to sit down and talk without somebody getting agitated, whether it's me, whether it's them. It's it's rough. It's rough. So we're trying to deal with it the best we can, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that are trying to deal with it too, the way that they can. I've we've been going out taking walks, and I've been finding that I've been hearing a lot of parents yelling at their kids, and I understand. I understand why. You're going to be trapped in the house with the kids all day. You're going to get a little agitated, but I've just been hearing it, and Angie's been hearing it, and she's just been saying there's just been too much negativity. It's too much. So it's just been one of those things. Enough about that stuff. I'd give away all my personal information. um, I don't really have anything to talk about. I really don't. Like I said, I haven't been following much. I've been reading. I went back to reading the Bible. On Tuesday, I started Matthew. I come down. I used to be. I came down in the morning and the hour before work because I'm trying to still keep my schedule. The hour before work, I'd come down here and I'd play video games. And it got to the point to where I said, I really need to reset my mind, reset my spirituality, get back to a point where I don't feel so dirty and nasty all the time. Because, like I said, it's a permeating thing. It's in the house. It's just it sticks to you. And so I've I said, okay, I will go see what Jesus is saying because he should be the word that I should be following. So I started reading Matthew, and I think I'm like chapter 23 now. It's just like 30 minutes a day. That's all it is. And then I have to go over and get ready for work. But I really don't have much other information. Not nothing that I can point to. I can tell you that all the guys that are talking about what's going on, the empty hospitals, the yada yada yada, all the stuff, you can go find that out for yourself. You can talk about Bill Gates all you want. You can talk about, you know, whatever. I'm not going to go into that because that's just me rehashing stuff. And I don't have enough people that watch these videos to give you any new information. I do have a couple things that we can talk about, and I do have something that I kind of thought that we could do. So let me, this will probably get bright for a second. Let me make sure that this is, and I'm going backwards. Yes. All right. So let me go ahead and get on this, show you a couple things. Couple of numerology things. You know how I like to do. Go there. So this is something interesting. I This is something I saw on Twitter. Somebody posted this, and of course, this just reeks of what the hell. That's what this is. They're talking about this guy has now treated 699 C virus patients. Um, I find that number really interesting with a 100% success rate using hydroxychloroquine. I don't know what the hell that is, zinc, and a Z pack. I laughed at that because, of course, whenever. Hold on, let me check one thing. Yeah, we're good. Whenever whenever CM Punk left the WWE, they were talking about how they treated everything with Z packs. I just think that's hilarious. But I was just like, really, 699? It's a very specific number. What the hell is this? And of course, we love the numbers around here, especially the date on this. This is March 29, 2020. It's a 329. It's a 923. It's numerology. It's all this is. Even the time that it was posted, the 1031, that's a 311. 11.3. If you guys don't know what the 11.3 is, um, of course, there was a Russian guy that came out, what was that, last year? Thought that there was going to be something that happened at 11.3, but it didn't happen. So I said, well, 311 might be a thing because, 311 is everywhere. And we haven't deciphered what that means yet, but 311 is a number as well. If you look around, you'll find that one too. And then right at the very end, just to finish it off, the tiny little thing is 238 comments. Now I know the comments you can't perfectly do comments. You can do dates posted, and you can do times, and then you can do everything inside of it. But the comments. But I just thought it was funny. I was like 238, and I said, "Really? You couldn't just go ahead and do 239? Why not?" But it was just the numbers. Like I said, the 699, I had to flip the 99 over, it's a 666. And like I said, the 923 and the 311, it's right in your face. They are so blatant with this stuff now. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what the next one is. What is this one? Oh, Star Press. Hold on one second. Let me, you guys read this while I blow my nose. Good old, I didn't get all my nose, damn it. Good old Star Press. So this is the Star Press out of Muncie, Indiana. I used to live in Muncie, Indiana, and every now and then I'll get an email from the Star Press, just telling me different things. And lately, I've been reading them more and more because I've been wanting to see what Muncie is doing about the current situation. And they're talking about increasing stricter guidelines on people staying at home. And I said, wow, that's just really great that Muncie is taking a step up in order to be more totalitarian than they are. And since I left Muncie, I have noticed that they have definitely done just a lot. Muncie has just become such a liberal garbage bin. And that's nothing against liberals. I'm just saying that what they've done over the past couple years, from what I've heard, it's just it's just nonsense. And that's just my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, you don't have to watch the video. So there you go. It is what it is. But I was reading down through this, and of course, just skimming through it, seeing what they were talking about, how they were doing it. And I never thought in a million years that I would be finding 33s inside of the Star Press. Now, of course, granted, I mean, it's going to happen eventually. I know it's happening in the Indianapolis, what do you call them, papers, websites, articles. I'm finding them there, which I even think I have a picture of it, of one of the other ones. But this, I mean, Muncie, come on, guys. Even though I know Muncie's a very Masonic, city, I've had Masonic relatives. They weren't high end relatives, but it kind of makes me sick that they were. It is what it is. But yeah, they're talking about Delaware County, which is where Muncie is, has seen 33 confirmed cases. I mean, really, you guys, not 34, not 32, 33 exactly. At the time this was written, whenever they're talking about locking Muncie down even more in order to keep everybody social distanced. Of course, then again, I looked at the bottom, and this is a free article. This is part of the Star Press webpage. It's a free article, but it's $3 for 3 months. I never would have noticed that before, but now I notice it. And it's one of those things. There have been so many 33s. They're just blatant with it. What was the one I heard the other day was the unemployment rate had reached 3.3 million people, which is the most that they've ever had ever. There's if you look on Twitter, there's actually a graph that somebody did where it shows how the unemployment has gone up and down since it was instituted back in 67 or something like that. It has dips and it has rises, dips and rises. It goes up pretty high in 2008, and then it goes way down almost to where it started back in the 60s, and then it just spikes, and it just keeps going up and keeps going up and keeps going up and keeps going up, and that's whenever we shut everything down. And 3.3 million is what it is. And I was like, come on, you guys you couldn't do any better than that. So then I think it was the next week, they actually it was a couple days later, they're like, well, the amount of people that have filed for unemployment claims has doubled to 6.6 million people. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. You guys just can't win. You cannot win on this one. You can't. Unless you fight, you're not going to be able to win on what's coming, because it's just so blatant and in your face now. They don't care. They have manipulated you into a corner, and you've let them manipulate you into a corner, and they don't care anymore. They're putting it in your face. You just can't see it. It's blatant. It's absolutely blatant. And that's why I do these things, in the hopes that somebody will see it and somebody will start waking up, and then hopefully that person will be able to tell it to somebody else. I mean, hopefully it'll move forward. But I don't know. I'm only getting like 4 views at a time anymore. I don't, not like I ever got anything more than that anyways, but how it is. The next one, yes, if it'll come clear. So this I read last night. I'm not able to get comic books anymore because comic books have completely shut down, which is sad. I don't think comic books are going to be that much of a thing when we come out on the other side of this. I really don't. I think the comic book industry has reached its point. If it does, it will be all digital. And I'm not reading digital books. I'm not doing it. I tried it. It doesn't work for me. So I guess I'm done with comic books. It's just all there is to it. But this was last night. I took a picture of it while I was laying in bed reading. I didn't realize the number of the book until I took the picture. So it's the new Transformers book from IDW. It's issue number 19, which I think is hilarious. And you can see the number. It's right there in front of you. It's so blatant. It's so friggin' blatant, right in your face. 663323. Are you kidding me with this? How the hell, man? What the hell is going on here? That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd for that to be that. Now there's either there's 3 possibilities of what happened here. 3 possibilities. is that one, the first one, it's a coincidence. It's whoever made this cover put those numbers on there, and it was random. They just thought 663323.0, whatever. That's fine. Coincidentally, whatever. It just happens to use three of the biggest numbers, and the other one is the second option is that it was somebody that knows what those numbers mean, and they were mocking it. They were making a joke out of it. Oh, we'll get the conspiracy guys here. This will be a good rib on them right here, and they made those numbers like that. That's possible. Okay, it's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not possible. The third option is that they knew exactly what the hell they were doing, and they put those numbers there on purpose in order to get us to accept the numbers as they come. Because we have been brainwashed into thinking that 33 is not a number to worry about. We've been brainwashed into thinking that 23 is not a number to worry about. We've absolutely been brainwashed to thinking that 666 is not a number to worry about. But it's right there in your face. It's so blatantly right there in your face. I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. It blows my mind. It boggles my mind. It blows my mind. And when you know what to look for, when you see it constantly, I mean, it's always there. It's always there. Everywhere you go. And I thought about it this way. Okay. I thought about it how if it's something man-made, if they're trying to code their numbers into the system to get us to, blindly follow whatever they need us to follow, or, anything like that, it's one thing, because that's what they're doing. That's the agenda, is they're trying to get us to manipulate us into understanding that, these numbers aren't bad. You should follow these numbers whenever the time comes, so that you'll go for it. But then I thought, and I've been thinking about this a lot. We've seen so many of these numbers pop up, and you have so many of these people that talk about divine intervention and how God sends us, signs. And it rolled into my mind for a second, and actually my brain is doing that thing where it's going on overtime right now, so I may or may not be getting ideas from outside of my own reality right now. But people talk about how God sends signs all the time, that maybe he's encoding these numbers, he's giving these numbers to people through the ether in order so that people that can see it will know that it's there, and yada yada yada. And I've thought about that, and I've said, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why we're seeing 33 pop up so much. Maybe that's why we're seeing it, because all that. But then I stopped and said, well, I'm thinking about it right now, and I've stopped and said it before too. It's like, but that's not what he told us he was going to send as signs. He told us specifically he was going to send us the stars and the moon and the sun as signs and times, not numerology. He never said anything about numerology. God has his own numerology. He follows his numerology very well. That's his thing. We are not meant to know the absolute things of God. He uses numerology. He doesn't have to teach us numerology. It's not a sign that he told us he was going to give us. If it is, then I must have missed that whenever I was reading the Bible, because I never once saw where it said, hey, I'm going to show you that such and such, number is going to mean this, and you have to go through that. He gives us numbers, and he gives us numbers very well. And there's a lot of those numbers match up very well as part of his plan. But he never once said, I'm gonna constantly give you the number 33 and show you how this works. And besides that, this numerology, the 66, the 33, the 23, all of this numerology is used for evil, not good. They're all associated with things that have happened that are terrible, not things that have been positive, not things that have changed the world for the better. Let's put it that way. If anything, every time he uses numerology, every time God uses numerology, especially in the Bible, um, it's usually always for a bad thing. Like whenever he talks about certain, what was it in David? He talked about a very specific amount of days, and the only place that numerology is used is how long the Catholic Church reigned over, reigned over, whatever it was, from the time the Roman Empire fell until certain. That's the only place that fits. The beast that had his head mortally wounded. That's the only place that ever works. The only time you ever really see his numerology is whenever it means something bad. So I don't think it's that. I think it's a man thing. I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong. Um, I ask for wisdom from I ask for wisdom from him every day. Outside of forgiveness, those are the two things I have asked for, and yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's very strange. It's very strange, very weird. Uh, all right, the last one. This is This is from March 29th. It might have been March the 30th. This was something I pulled from Indianapolis. Um, this was I wanted to know how many confirmed cases, that Indiana has. I cannot remember exactly what I was looking for. There was something about um, I cannot remember exactly what it was. But I just happened to be skimming through this article, and I happened to see the numbers. So far, 32 people. This was back March 29th, March 30th. I don't know what it was. So far, 32 people, 23 in Indiana, have died. Uh, Marion County had the most new cases at 119. It's a 9/11. See it yet? And that has a total of 676. That may not be much to people, but to me, 676, it's just there. That's a 66 with a 7 on it. You can make that go any way you want to. It's a 13.6. I think I used to be able to make a 923 out of it. I don't remember. I can't really do the math right now, not in my head. But you get it. It's there. It's in your face. It's constantly in your face. Everywhere you look now, it's just there. It's in your face. And again, I don't. If it is God showing us something, then you need to wake up more than just what we're doing. This is something that he's trying to show us. It's blatant and in your face, and it's like a neon sign. If that's what he's doing, it's just something you have to pray on and ask him for guidance so that you'll be able to understand. Because I can't tell you what to do, because I'm cut both ways. I don't even know. So anyways, let's go back to this. Make sure I'm still here. I'm still here. It hurts my head. Sometimes it just hurts my head so bad that I'm just like, oh, just stop. Just stop. Yeah, Angie said I was getting a little bit too damn it. Hold on a second. You guys are gonna have to look at my desktop for a bit here. Hold on. Wow. You ever blow your nose so hard you almost throw up? Jeez. Okay. But Angie was saying that I was getting a little too beautiful mind with it, which I think I said that in the last video about the elevator in the Twilight Zone. You know, the numbers in the Twilight Zone. I don't know. I just see them. You know, I just see them, and every time I see them, and it's a blatant number, they put it right in your face. I just you have to stop and just do the quick math on them. Like the thing, like the elevator. You know, what was it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You just have to stop and do the quick math because there's something to it. There's something there. What was it? We were watching Iron Man 2 last night, and right at the end, whenever he's fighting the drones, the robots, whatever, robot Iron Man, on the back of one of the packs, it said VX23. I just like, son of a bitch. Come on now. VX23, seriously? Okay, if you don't know what it is. So V is considered a Vav, which is the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So that's a 6. X is the 24th letter of our alphabet, which is 4 times 2 is, or 4 plus 2, not times 2. 4 plus 2 is a 6. And then the 23, which, you know, we've already said 2 times 3 is a 6. You may not understand that. People may not get that, you know, because they'll just be like, "Oh man, that's reaching so far. You can't reach like that. It doesn't work like that." It's like, no, to an initiated person, that's exactly how they do it. I don't know how many more times I can say that. They're taught these things. I've only just started scratching the surface. I should have got a water. My throat's getting all scratchy. But I'm only starting to scratch the surface on how they do it, and they can do it quick. You know, they can do it just like that. I have to take a second to be able to see it. You know, I'm getting better, and I know there's other guys out there that can do it way faster than that. Mini Fish, he's got something. He's got something that he's able to see it, and it just pops for him right then and there, and he's able to do it. There was another kid. I cannot remember his name. I think he got taken off of YouTube, but he did the. He was one of the ones that helped me figure out that there's something more to this than, you know. He was the one that helped me figure out that there's a true evil, because he would take all of the numerology of certain things and he would expand it way out. You know, going into birthdays and going into different things like that. And he was the one that helped me understand that the numerology behind certain stuff, it's not human. There's no human could sit down and put all that together. You know, that it's something far more, that's the word I'm looking for, intelligent than we could ever consider it being. So that was, but I don't remember who it was. And like I said, I think he got taken off because I haven't seen one of those videos in a long time. He would go through it and you know, step by step by step, go through the numerology and the gematria and just bam bam bam. I can't really do gematria very well. I can do you know, the basic simple gematria where you know, you just do the letters, you know, what certain letters do. And there's other letters. Like I said, it's not only the English letters, but or the English gematria, but it's the Hebrew meaning as well, like the vavs, the v's, the vavs. If you didn't know that a v was a 6 in, you know, Hebrew gematria, then it would mean nothing to you, because a v in English gematria is a 22. That 22 is a it's I could swear somebody said that it meant death. I don't know if that's true. It used to be. It could have changed now. So, Mandela effect, but no, that's and 22. I always thought was like a killing number. I don't know. Anyways. My throat's getting rough. I don't know if I should sign off now or if I should keep going with what else I had. The other thing that I had, I might as well sign off because we are at 45 minutes. The other thing I had was I Pet Goat 2. It's been coming around because a lot of people have been talking about it, and I never really dove into it. I mean, I watched it and I watched what other people thought about it, but rewatching it, there are certain things that you know when you go back to it again and you rewatch it again, it's just kind of like, oh, there's new stuff there. Oh, there's stuff that makes sense there. Now there's a thing there, and I should really take a look at it. So I wanted to do that. I've never actually just stopped and watched it, and I guess I could. I don't know. Let me see. It's 7 minutes. It's 7 minutes, but I can talk about it for 30. I swear, I could talk about it for 30 minutes, but it's a 7 minute video. I could talk about it for 30 minutes. I guess we could do it. I want to do it. I want to get it out of the way, but I know the longer these videos go, the less likely people are going to watch it. But then again, who cares? Because it's my videos. Ain't nobody going to listen to me anyways. I need a water. I wish I had a water. My room is an absolute mess. There's magazines stacked up here now. Because I'm working from home, I get to shift stuff around whenever I'm in the bedroom. So I've got so much crap just piled up, and so I'm kind of, even though we're moving in a couple months, I'm rearranging stuff, which is ridiculous. But I'm getting my shelves back together. It's pretty nice. They got kind of destroyed whenever we had the flooding, which I still have flooding. We found that out a couple days ago whenever it rained pretty hard, and I got some water, and I was like, son of a bitch. So I didn't fix the problem, but it didn't get as bad as it was, which is nice. And I'm still just kind of here doing that. Do we want to do this? I don't want to do this. Screw it. Let's do this. I don't know if there's copyright strikes on this or not. I don't know. I got the volume turned down. Hopefully it's not going to go crazy. I love this. I've been seeing this Corbett report, Corbett report. Colbert, you hear me? Corbett report. Globalist conference is canceled, and he's got old Thunberg in there, and the only thing that kept going through my mind was, how dare you? Let me make sure I'm still, my throat is not going to last through this. I can tell you that right now. My throat is not going to last through this. So, I'm going to pause this. We're not going to watch it straight through. When I see stuff, I'm going to pause it. We're going to look at it. We're going to talk about it. But I would suggest anybody that's not seen this is, I don't know how old it was, 7 or 8 years old. It's been around for a while. And it came out of nowhere, as far as I know. And people have just kind of freaked out about it. Because there's a lot of stuff in it that has come true. I think it was released, released like a couple days before Sandy Hook. And, you got I don't know. We'll see. Let's just go. We'll go through it. And like I said, as I see stuff, I'm going to stop it. We'll talk about it. I want to check and make sure, though, because I've done this before. Yeah, we're still good. We're still here. I've done that before where I've started talking about something and forgot to put you guys over to the screen. All right. Let's do this. It's weird to watch now because the music just gets you. I don't know. The good old goat. So I Pet Goat. It comes from the book that George Bush was reading with the kids in the school the morning of 9/11. So I Pet Goat 2 is the name of this thing. Starts off with the goat. Of course, he's inside of a prison. You can tell it's a prison because the barbed wire faces in. Of course, you got the prison guy with the dog down there with the gun. That's, some kind of martial law, I'm sure. He's got a barcode on top of his head. I think it says 666. Some people have said it, some people haven't. Um, there's all kinds of different symbolism that people have done on this, different things. I mean, they really tear this thing apart. I'm not going to tear this thing apart like that. I'm just looking at the surface of what's going on. It's what I'm doing. I can, the different things I see, you know, just the little things. Mind control, sheep. I never noticed the two smokestacks in the background. That's interesting. It may not be smokestacks, maybe burning buildings. I never noticed that before. See, when you come back to this kind of stuff and you rewatch it, you can kind of see these things. We're gonna go back on this one. This was something that I saw whenever I was kind of testing to make sure this worked right. So of course the devil hands. That's the reptilian devil hands doing everything that they can do. Of course, he's got the dollar sign. Yes, your dollar sign is a snake. Good job, guys. Money, mon eye. I don't know who. I think it was a Plain Truth came up with that. Was money? Was mon eye? Was one eye? I was like, damn it, man! It's been there all this time. And yeah, I think it's a scarab beetle on his other hand. On what would be his right hand. I think it's a scarab beetle. Egyptian. Just showing you what is there in front of your face. Good old Bush. It's a little loud in my headset. Turn down a little bit. Of course, you've got the everything in this classroom is backwards, which it is what it is. When you look over at the alphabet on the right side, you have the lowercase and then the uppercase. It's backwards. Evolution. It's love backwards. Is what it is. It's evil. It's not good. It's evil. What else? Random stuff. Of course, he's got the star. We've got the snowflakes. Everybody keeps saying, well, the snowflakes mean that they're going to be in winter or whatever happens. And I think there was something about the map over here on the left. There's like push pins where certain things have happened. It's possible. The house is burning. Nobody cares. There's all kinds of other stuff too, splitting the mind, different things. I'm not going to go too far into it, but those snowflakes are 6-pointed stars. Just saying. Just saying. All right. It's all a show. Shame on, shame on, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. The owl. He's doing Dance of Shiva. Oh, there's been so much about this. So much that people have talked about what's going on here. People have said this is Innocence. People have said this is Alice. People have said this is Eve. She's got a rose in her head. Rosicrucians are a thing. I don't know if it means anything. I've never really gotten into this. It's what comes afterwards that kind of, sets the precedence. What's going on? I mean, are there 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12? Of course there's 12. Well, the kid could be Jesus for all we know. Then of course it does this, and of course everybody said, "Look, the Exodus," and you got the rabbit means Easter. You've got all this other kind of stuff, and she's got an apple, which stands for knowledge, and all that. I don't know. The deer over on the side, I haven't really put it all together. It is what it is. Just somebody. There was one recently where they said that this stands for Corona, and that's happening during Easter, and it very well could be. I don't know. I can tell you this much right now that Easter, of course, is Ishtar. This could very well be Ishtar. This could be her. And she is a temptress with the apple. This is biblical. With the rose, no less. The rose is a sign of fertility. You give roses for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a fertility festival. So this could very well be Ishtar tempting with the apple on Easter. It's the celebration of Ishtar. Now, Easter rolls around Passover because Jesus was resurrected after Passover. It was 3 days after Passover because he celebrated the Passover feast. So they are intrinsically, entwined. Let's put it that way. And right before the Passover, there were famines, pestilences, and all this stuff in Egypt. So there's a tie-in there. It all ties in together, especially now where we have this friggin' disease going on in the world where we're all being told to lock ourselves inside of our house, and it just so happens we're coming up on Passover. And I don't think it was a coincidence that Trump said that he wanted all of this to be done by Easter. I don't think there's. I think it's interesting though that they moved it back from Easter to May the 1st. Of course, May the 1st is May Day. That's their big holiday. That's their big satanic ritual holiday, because everything from March 22nd until May the 1st is just a big, I don't remember the name of it. I wish I could remember the name of it right now, but it's just a big satanic holiday for them. So there are things happening here that you have to kind of pay attention to. But somebody said, yeah, the rabbit may stand for Easter. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that. I just know that there are a lot of things that are tying together here that I don't know. Yeah, it's very, very weird. With the 12 kids in the background, though, I do find it interesting that there are two of them that are tied together. The two in the back with their heads put together, and then the two in the front here with their legs put together, with one of them with their face scratched out. I find that interesting because there were two sets of brothers in the disciples. I don't know. You could look through and look into that all you want, but there are head wounds going on here, and it makes you think. It makes you want to go through and look at the disciples and see who was who and what was what, because there were two sets of brothers. Can't remember who it was. I got my handy dandy Bible right here. As a matter of fact, this might take a second, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I mean, it could be a thing. It could be nothing. Like I said, it could very well be absolutely nothing. But you never know. It's little things like that. And like I said, I didn't want to. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net. And then he went down, and going from thence he saw two other brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father. So there were two sets of brothers. And those two are tied together. One of them with their face scratched off. Could that be Peter? I don't know. Yeah, makes you think. Just makes you think. I'm not going to look that far into it. Like I said, it's Masonic floorboard, checkerboard. So here's where I'm going to throw my 2 cents down because no one has said this. Everybody sees this and they say, "Oh, look, it's a C7. Oh, look, it's a CV. Hey, it could be a CV." Because everything in this classroom is backwards. Could be an LC. I don't know what it could mean. It wasn't until recently, especially a couple weeks ago, I stopped and said, "Dude, that's a DT. That's what it is. It's not complete because it was being formed at the time." Now, I'm not going to say it is what it is, but I've never heard anybody else say that's a DT. It's just missing the 2 lines because at this point, Obama was still president and he was sweating whatever was coming because something was coming. I don't know what, but it wasn't complete. It's a D. You put a line at the to connect C, and then the T, you just continue the line out. It's a T, the L, the T. It's a DT. It's Donald Trump. Why has nobody saw this? Now, again, it could be a CV. Hey, there you go. It's a thing. I don't know. That was something that just rang into my head, just recently, and I was like, why has nobody said that yet? Which is interesting though, because you see that, and of course everybody's talked about the British. I think it's got a British the coin underneath the foot at the bottom there. I wish I could get rid of this. The coin underneath the foot there that it's like a British pound or mark or something. I don't know what it is, but I think this is interesting. This opens up, and of course it blooms into a flower. I don't know what the significance of the flower is. I don't remember what kind of flower it was either. I heard somebody was saying it, but I don't know. Could be something, could be nothing. Just it's a thing. I'm sure it has some kind of significance. I've heard guys take deep dives on this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. Could be, possibly. Who knows? Of course, he's sweating. Something's going to happen. He knows it. And of course, you pull out. God, this music. Psalm 23. Of course, Psalm 23 is the I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Let me make sure because I don't want to be the one that gets that wrong. After Kings, there we go. Of course, 23. You like that? Psalm 23 was the one that I think Bush said. Psalm 23. Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Yeah, he leadeth me beside the still waters. Bush said Psalm 23 at the ground zero. And then, what was it, like, was it 10 years later that Obama did Psalm 46, I think? It doubled, is what it is. Yeah, where he said, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth." Yeah. So it was just one of those curiously interesting things. Yeah, it is what it is. But of course, the school there looked just like good old Sandy Hook. I think this did come out before that. I don't remember. Of course, you got the towers in the background. And I've heard guys that have taken apart the clouds in this. Here comes the Antichrist. All kinds of stuff going on here. You gotta. That's not really a solar eclipse, is it? That's the moon. So it's a red moon. It's a blood moon with something in front of it. That's interesting. Of course, you got Osama here with the CIA logo on it. I don't know. I always thought it was a solar eclipse, but that's not really a solar eclipse. Now, of course, I've talked about before about the 7 years between the two solar eclipses and how this wonderful pandemic we're going through is exactly 3.5 years between the two solar eclipses, which is just awesome whenever it comes to biblical prophecy. Everybody talks about the black goo. Oh, this it's the black goo. We got to worry about it. But no, that's the oil fields in the background are running out. The oil is going to run out. The oil is going to stop, and then something's going to happen. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying. It's oil, kids. It's oil. Starfort. Serpent seed. It's Egyptian. This is not Christ. This is the Antichrist. I even fell for it that it could have been Christ at the beginning, but you look at it now, it's the Antichrist. Dude in the TV only has one eye. Just saying, man. Whoever did this, they knew what they were doing. Brainwashing. That's all I can say about it. It's brainwashing. What is this guy wearing? What is that? So he's Roman. I'm just now putting it together. Of course, you've got the upside down, the dollar, the pyramid. Of course, his face is made of money, but he's Roman. That's a very Roman look, Greek Roman, Greco-Roman look. Look at it. You can see underneath his eyes, it's the Order Abkeo. Oh, it's interesting when you go back and watch his stuff, man. It really is. Of course, that's the media constantly, talking to your head. It's all about money. Of course, we talk about everybody's talked about the markets plunge and yada 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 as it concerns what's going on now. Yeah, it's there. And the Masonic, that looks Japanese over there in the background. The Masonic stealth bombers. I don't know if they're going to be bombing mosques. I don't know. That looks Japanese in the background. Maybe it's just me. People have talked about this too. I don't know. It's just a mosque that's falling over. It's just I don't know. You can take it however you can. I don't know what to say about that. There's other things in here that I do know, but I mean that could very well be some kind of a. She's holding a bottle of something in her hand. Hold on a second. She's holding a bottle of something in her hand, and that could very well be a cure for something. I don't know. Of course, everybody's talked about this kid that looks very similar to the kid that got hurt in. I don't remember where it was. Was it Syria? A couple years back. Kid's missing a foot, by the way. I don't know what that means. Scare him. So here we go. Man, I heard somebody talking about this the other day, and I think it's interesting how right during this part the music dies down and you can hear sound effects. I'd never heard any sound effects before, but I can hear them now. And people have been talking about this, about them birthing something, about something coming around. It's like, no, 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 no. This is something else. So this is about birthing something. Is what this is. It's a pregnant woman holding a gun. She's obviously a robot. This is obviously AI, is what this is. I don't know what the pearl necklace means. It could be something. Um, there's just more to this than what other people have said. People have looked at the bray in her hair, and they've said stuff about that. But it's just robotic. This is the birthing of AI. This is something that we're talking about now. That's coming. We're talking about robotic fighters. We're talking about robotic soldiers. We're talking about the war changing. That's got to be what this is. I don't know. It could very well be a million other things, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that might say, "Well, you're wrong," and that's fine. It's just my opinion because it's just what I see. I saw this when I first saw this, about 6, 7 years ago. That was the first thing I thought too. Was it's a robot. It's a robot holding a gun. I don't know why she's black. I don't understand what that's all about, but it's got to be something more to it. I don't know. But as soon as he pulls the bow off of her stomach, of course the lights go out. So I don't know what that means either. And of course you got this guy. You got the hammer and sickle here to make it seem like it's Russian. Yet if you look at the tattoo, it says Juanita. That's a Mexican. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. Maybe it's Russia and Mexico going down. Of course, everybody's talked about this. The girl might represent South Korea because she's got the tiger, and the tanks might represent North Korea. I don't know. It's possible. You got to think it's rather interesting how North Korea and South Korea were at odds with each other for a long time there, and then they're all playing nice now, and I don't know. Christ would not be riding in on an Egyptian boat. I'm just saying. People have said this is a birthing canal. It's a birthing canal. I'll go for that. Shiva. You see stuff like this, and of course, you have the story in the Bible about how Christ told, I think it was Peter or somebody else, how they were fishing, and whenever Christ came back, he said, push your net over to one side, and when they did, they couldn't bring the net in for the weight of the fish. Then you got the fish jumping in the boat. The Antichrist comes with lying signs and wonders. I'm not saying it is what I just said. My opinions. Yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion. This is the first time I've ever done one of these, so that's just what I see. It's not Christ, anyways. I'm just saying that's Caesar Borgia. you got the people talked about this being the church. I don't know. Could be the Catholic Church, as it were. It's got the cross on top. I don't know what people said the heart was. But you have the horror inside, the supposed, some people said the Virgin Mary, I don't know. Who is now a whore. I wonder what those numbers were in the back. Go back to that. Get a strike just because of nudity. What are the numbers in it? A lot of fives in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 36 times 5, 100, 180. All right. I don't know. That takes away the blood stain. It's making it pure again. Is that the Antichrist killing the economy? Ooh. I don't. When you rewatch this stuff, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, there's something there. I don't know. I don't know. It's uh, looking back on it now, it's like that could very well be what it is, because this whole thing has completely killed the economy, and they're talking about us never being able to go back to what it was, and you got universal basic income and yada yada yada. Psh, could be anything, man. And enlightenment. I mean, there are so many people that are waking up to the nonsense and stopping you know, listening to the nonsense, and just there's something else, going on that people are waking up to. I don't know if we'll be able to do anything about it, but it is what it is. Some people have said that's a whirling dervish, and of course, CERN puts out that one video of them dancing around, and it's like, ugh, God. And I think there's a part after this where there's another the Shiva character, the one that keeps flipping between the gods. They're dancing as well. What else is going on in here? Just looking at the background stuff, it almost looks like there's a city in the water. No, it's not a city in the water. That's a weirdy city, though. I don't know what that is. Huh. Yeah, it's weird. I've never known. It's like, again, this is just stuff you notice whenever you come back to it and you rewatch it, and you're just like, oh, what's that? That's weird. All different gods. He was birthed from a canal of evil. That was a demon's head on top of that. Just saying. Now, we've talked about this, of course, the spire in the background. Just it looks exactly like Notre Dame, and sure enough, the spire falls exactly the way that we saw the videos of Notre Dame. Completely ridiculous. Of course, the crown of thorns disappears right as the church falls apart. That's the Antichrist. That's not Christ coming back. When Christ comes back, I mean, he will tear down the false churches, sure, but I don't believe that any Christ that's going to be coming back is going to be showing us third eye symbolism with pyramids and enlightenment. That is the satanic ideal. That is not Christ. And this, which happens right at 6:11, I thought for sure that it was. I could be wrong. I remember whenever guys first started doing this, they were looking at the clouds because the clouds could be shaped to something, and it's possible that this whole thing could be shaped as a certain thing that you just have to kind of like a stereogram. You just have to kind of step back and kind of let your eyes kind of wander so you can see it. And the pyramids, they get destroyed. Somebody said this clouds over look like a scorpion. Interesting thing about the scorpion. I haven't talked about this in a while. When I was younger, what was I about? 12, 13, something like that. I had a dream. It's probably one of the most vivid ones I ever had. And I was running from somebody, and I was running around this building. And when I ran around this building, it was like a beach. And when you look down the side of this building on this beach, it kind of looked like there's a scene in Inception where all the buildings kind of come right up to the water and then they're just kind of falling into the water. It kind of looked exactly like that. And I remember having to hide in this little cubbyhole with this person. It was a girl, a younger girl too. She was like 5 or 6. It was weird. I don't know why she was with me, but we were hiding in this little cubbyhole where the trash cans would go, and I I remember feeling something like a bite on my foot and one on my knee. And when I looked down, there were 2 scorpions. One of them was on my left foot. I don't know why I was bare feet. One of them was on my right knee, and they were stinging me. And I fell over, and that's how I died in my dream. I've had that. I've had that dream for years, and that's always been this recurring memory. I've held on to that thing for like 30 years. It's been really, really weird. But as I've gotten older, I keep seeing imagery like that. When I saw Inception, I saw that. I said, "That's what I saw in my dream." That's a very, very similar to it. And then you get to this, and it's the same kind of thing where it kind of looks like that, where it was, you got the water because it was just like an ocean. You look out in the ocean, and it was just water, and then it's just the beach went down, but all these buildings were kind of hanging off the edge, and they were all falling apart, and it just looked like a war zone, but it was just weird. I don't know, man. That was a really young, really really young dream that I've had. I've just kept as a memory, and you've got this cloud over here that looks like a scorpion tail. I don't know if that's what it is. I can't tell. I just like, but that's one of those things that I've always kind of held on to that I've just always thought was really weird. It might have been backwards. It might have been my right foot and my left knee. I don't remember. I'm getting old. Yeah, it's hard to remember certain things anymore. But I do remember that dream. And I do remember it freaked me out so much that I remember telling everybody about it, trying to figure out what it meant. I don't know. You look on the right side, it looks like a phoenix. It's like a bird head. How do I know it's Antichrist? Because he's worshiping the sun. Just saying. Heliofont. Of course, everybody's talked about this. How it's sun worship. And there's credits on this. I never knew there were credits on this. I always thought it would just stop right there, but see, it's got this whole thing, I never knew there were credits on it. So, anyways, that's that. I mean, I know I missed a lot on that. There's a lot of stuff in there that you could really tear apart. I'm not going to do that because I don't know half of it. I'm not even going to speculate on half of it. It is what it is, and it's very, very weird. I always wanted to talk about it. just to be able to go in and just be like, this is this and that's that. And I think that's interesting, but I just never did. And now, 5, 6 years later, you can go back to it and it's like, well, that's that. This is this. Check this out. Now that, because the world has changed so much within the past 6 years. Just, just crazy. Just absolutely nuts. And how the world's changed so much just within the past 4 years. It's just seems like ever since Donald Trump got into office, they've just kind of ramped up all the insanity. And now it's like things that you wouldn't have even remotely thought were possible, 5, 6 years ago are it's nuts. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it sometimes. It blows my mind. This is not the world I grew up in. This is not the world I want. And if coronavirus is even remotely a real thing, then I am more than happy to pass away from this life and go wherever it is I'm supposed to go next because I don't want this anymore. This is not what I want. I've said that so many times over the past couple weeks. This is not what I want. This is not where I want to be. I want to go home. And if I don't get the opportunity to go home, then hey, at least I'm done with this. I just think it's all there is to it. So that's that. There you go. I Pet Goat 2. We just watched it. Woohoo. Go find the original so you don't have to listen to me blabbing on about it. I like to, find some random verse that we can talk about. I think the only one, this one's still Luke. What was I? As I was going through Matthew, there were a couple different interesting things. But I can't remember what it was. Just a couple of interesting things that really stuck with me that I was like, yeah. I cannot remember what they were. I can't think of what they are. Here's the one. Here's the one about the when I went looking for when I went looking for reasons to, well, I don't want to say not eat pork because I don't have to eat pork if I don't want it, but I I was getting stuck on the whole, did he ever make him clean? And of course, I can't find anything in here that ever made it clean. But there's a part in Matthew, it's Matthew 15, that, when you go looking for this stuff, this is one of the big ones that they point to. They point to this, they point to the dream that Peter had whenever he was doing the whole blanket full of animals and he did it 3 times. And then there was another one. What was the other one? There were like 3 of them. And when you read it on the surface, it looks like, I'll show you. Watch. Just taking it out of context. Um, Matthew 15:16. This is out of context. And Jesus said, are ye also yet without understanding? Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever enter in at the mouth goeth into the belly and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, for they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. So, wait, where's the other one? Oh, here we go. And he called the multitude. This is 15:10. This is a little bit before that. Called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth the man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth the man. And people will point at that and say, well, see, there it is right there, because there's nothing that can go into your body that defiles a man. I'm going to look this up because I think no, I don't want to do that. Hold on a second, guys. Matthew, what is it? 15:10. We're going to go with the NIV. No, it's not this one. It's the other one then. There's one of them that ESV. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe it's something else. There was another one that I asked about to somebody, and he pulled it out and showed it to me, and he said, well, such and such. This is, I meant that, it's okay to eat anything, and yada yada yada. And in parentheses it said, and then he made all animals clean. And I stopped and said, well, wait a minute. That doesn't say that in KJV. It's King James. This is 1614? You're telling me that 400 years before that one was written, this one didn't have those things in the parentheses in it? You can't add to the book. That's literally what the book says. Do not add to the book. Now, this is not a perfect translation. I will absolutely admit that. But I just thought it was interesting that that one said that and this said this. But out of context, you can say, nothing which goeth into the mouth defiles a man. Out of context, that's literally what it says. You can eat whatever the hell you want to. It's not going to hurt you. But that's not what it meant. That's not the context of it. Context. Matthew 15:1. Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered them and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? I'll read it all so that you don't get confused. 15:4. For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, the people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoureth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude, and said unto them, hear and understand, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, that defileth a man. Okay, so there was a lot of kind of useless information in there, but he was talking to the Pharisees directly about, you want to get on us about not washing our hands, but you have to understand that's just a commandment of men. You don't follow the commandments of God at all. And then it ends with that, where nothing goes through the mouth defileth a man. Keep reading. Yeah, I need some water. I seriously need some water. Sorry if I coughed right in your... I was trying to hit the mute button. So keep reading. Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Then answered Peter and said unto him, declare unto us this parable. And Jesus said, Are ye also yet without understanding? Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. I read this before. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, and blasphemies. These are the things which defileth a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defileth not a man. And then it goes on and on and on. We might get to that in a second. So, he wasn't talking about making clean food. He was talking about eating with unwashed hands. And I think this says this somewhere else in the book. Where does it... Mark 7? Let me look. I think it's in here too. Because there's another place as well. For all, okay, here we go. This is Mark 7. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes. This is probably where it said, and then this is where he made it clean. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault. Because you have to remember, in Leviticus it says, if you touch certain things and not wash your hands, you defile yourself. And this explains this as well. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, which is often, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not, which means pretty much everything they do, they wash their hands. Many other things there be which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots, brazen vessels, and of tables. Pretty much everything they touch, they have to wash their hands. This is the tradition of men. Then he asked, Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? We're at Mark 6:6. Nice. He answered and said unto them, Well hath Isaiah prophesied of you, hypocrites, as it is written, This people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men as the washing of pots and cups. Many other such like things ye do. I'm going to skip down just a tiny bit. I mean, it's all in here. Making word of God none effect to which you have delivered. When he had called all the people unto him, he said to them, Hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand there is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. If any man have ears, let him hear. So, there's another one, There's nothing that a man can eat that's going to hurt him. Oh, wow, he just made everything clean, didn't he? Right there. I bet you I could probably look that one up. Mark 6:15. Mark. I bet you this one's it. I bet you this is the one I was talking about. Wait, didn't I do that right? St. Mark. That's what I'm doing, right? No, not 6, 7. Jeez, sorry. I'm in chapter 7, not chapter 6. I am sorry. I absolutely apologize for that. Chapter 7. Okay. So why don't you, he replied, Isaiah was right, and these people honor the continue the fine way of thing. There we go. This is it. Okay, so St. Mark 7:17. No, we're going to go 7:18. This is KJV 7:18. And he saith unto them, are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the drought, purging all meats. Oh, my nose is running again. Yeah, purging all meats. And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. And of course, he doesn't actually say at the end of this, it doesn't have anything to do specifically with washing your hands. But this is interesting. So this is NIV, I think it is. NIV, yes it is. Mark 7, NIV, chapter 7, verse 18. We started 18 here, we're going to 18 here. Are you so dull? That's God, that's Jesus talking, really. Are you so dull, he asked. Don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? For it doesn't go into their heart, but into their stomach, and then out of the body. For it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, purging all meats. Parentheses. In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. No, he didn't. You see what kind of bullshit? You see what happens here, man? And people wonder why religion is so, not religion. People wonder why this is so confused. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're telling me that overrides this? That's not, no. He didn't make all foods clean. He literally said just anything, because at the very beginning, at the context, they made sure that they spent 2-3 whole things in here versus telling you what the Pharisees did. And when they saw his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, unwashed hands. And then they went, the Pharisees, they eat often, washing. And when they come back from the thing, they wash. And then they asked, why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? How does that translate into he made all food clean, all meats clean? That's not what happened. That's literally not what happened. How does anybody not see that? That just blows my mind. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you that it's clean or unclean or whatever. I mean, everybody can come back and say, well, such and such, he said this and he said that, and we don't have to live by that anymore. But there are certain animals that the Father created in order to be garbage animals. Pigs are a garbage animal. There are fish that are scavengers. There are birds that are scavengers. These are things that eat dead meat in order to get rid of dead meat. It just is what it is. Dogs eat dead meat. They get rid of it for us. They leave the bones. Pigs eat everything. Everything. They eat their own shit. That's what they do. You want to eat an animal that eats its own shit? Really? That's nasty. Nasty. Look, this book did not make animals clean. That's just all there is to it. Those rules still apply. You can eat it. Nobody said you couldn't eat it. I've heard that heart disease is a pretty big thing nowadays. Just saying. I think whenever you hear that, if you don't cook pork good enough, that you could have literal holes in your brain. I don't know how the hell that works, but damn, man, holes in my brain. What? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what this book says. This book says he didn't clean animals up. There's other ones too. You got to take it in context. If I just read that by itself, where it just says, and then he made all the animals clean, it's like, oh, there you go, Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Read the whole chapter. You have to read the whole chapter. This is not a book that you can just verse by verse by verse. You can't do it. It's like the verse that's going around now from Isaiah that says, you know, hold yourselves in. I cannot remember what it was. It was in March. They said it was like a 324 or something. No, I can't find it. But it was something that I was given. I think Angie sent it. But it correlated with the day. Let's see. Correlated with the day that it was. I cannot remember where it was. Isaiah, here we go. Tomorrow is the 26th day of the year, and the year is 2020. Check out Isaiah 26:20. Now, it could very well be that it's a thing. I don't know. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. Keep reading. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. Oh, okay, it's entirely possible. It's it is a thing. It's entirely possible. I mean, that's. I would believe that that's how. No, I wouldn't believe. I don't believe that at all. I don't think that's how it works whatsoever. Maybe it is, but that's not God's calendar. So let's talk for a second, all right? Because I would have said, I would believe that that's how God works, is that it's the 26th day of the year 2020. But that's not God's calendar. Now, God may use that calendar as He wants to be able to send signs. It's possible. I will admit that. I don't think that's what He does because that's not His calendar, because His calendar was changed by men. It wasn't changed by Him. It was changed by men. It was the Romans that changed our calendars to what it is now. 2020 is not a number that we need to follow. It's just a number that they invented so that they can have their numbers work. Like Christmas and Easter. And God does not want the year to start in the dead of winter. He is not a God of death. He is a God of love and life. And He starts His calendar at the beginning of the year, which is April, spring. You could argue which day it is. I may or may not have gone through this to where whenever the extra day and a quarter got added onto it, the calendar kind of got screwed up. But it is what it is. His calendar starts in spring. His calendar does not start in the dead of winter. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So no, I don't believe that. Yes, it lines up pretty well. I could he have used it? Possibly. Possibly. I don't think so though. It's a good verse for the day. It really is. And it matches, but that doesn't mean that Satan can't use that as well. Yeah. Satan read this book. Satan read this book better than most of us have. Plus, Satan knows all the books that we don't know. That's possible. I'm just saying it's entirely possible. But I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a stretch. I don't know. But you see what I mean? It's little things like that. You can't. You got to take them in context. And Isaiah is kind of a, you know, it's a weird kind of contexty book. You have to read the whole thing in order to be able to get all of it. It's more like prose than it is, or poetry. There it is. More like poetry than it is prose. I don't know. Okay, anyways. And I'm not saying it is or isn't true. I don't know. I can't tell. I have to, what you have to do more than anything else whenever it comes to spiritual things like the Bible and God and Christ and things like that, in order to find that information out, you need to pray about it. You need to ask for the wisdom and the guidance on it, and you will get it. That's one thing I'm most thankful for, is that he's been able to open my eyes, and every time I've asked, he's been able to rip my eyes open and just absolutely destroy my mind with information. That's what it's come down to. It's just the amount of information I have been given. And I'm not even the best. There's other guys that have done this, and they receive the true spiritual gifts. I can only go by what I've read with other things and seen with other things. And I'm not perfect. I admitted at the beginning of this video, I've had the most unspiritual 2 weeks of my life. And I feel terrible for it. I absolutely feel terrible for it. I feel disgusting for all the crap that I've done. And it's this, like I said, it's just this feeling. It's like all the devils of the world are starting to come down on top of us. Maybe that's literally what's happening. I don't know. I'm going to stop. I went 2 hours. Ain't nobody going to watch 2 hours worth of this crap. Somebody might. I watch so many 2 hour videos on YouTube. I do. I really do. There are so many YouTubers that they will just sit there and talk for 2 hours, and I'll just listen to them. And I think I'm one of those few people that'll do it. I think the average Joe Schmo that came along and found this, they're not going to listen to this. They're probably not going to listen to it after they see some big fat guy with a beard sitting there talking, anyways. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you the absolute truth, because we don't have the absolute truth. Look at this pillow. Look at this. What the hell? I'm not telling you the absolute truth, because I don't know what the absolute truth is. You have to find that for yourself. And all I can do is suggest where to look. If you can find it somewhere else, then that's on you. I can't do anything for you. My absolute truth came from seeing the lies of the world, and then came from this book. And now I'm here. That's what we sit and talk about. We try to figure this out. So I'm going to get going. Thank you guys very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Try not to go stir crazy. This is a weird time. And we are not to live in fear. And I don't live in fear of catching some fake ass virus. I'm not living in fear of that. I am upset and worried about what comes after. I've said that so many times, that there's whatever comes after this is not going to be fun. They're already starting to lock it down and slowly starting to close the fist around us, and people are just letting it happen, and we're supposed to be vigilant, and we're supposed to fight. But we're not. We're just letting it happen like it's nothing. So don't take the test. You have a 100% chance of not catching the C virus if you don't take the C virus test. That's a fact. I'm just saying. I think that's exactly what it is. If you never take the test, you won't get infected. I heard that there was like, what was it? Like 100, I think that's what it was. 100 tests that went to the UK were actually contaminated with the virus that it was testing. I'm like, come on. Really, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Looking at how viruses work, looking at how this virus works, you're going to find out that we all have it. We all have it because it's an immunity. If you have an immune system, you probably have C virus. Just saying. Completely ridiculous. Ay, yay. But most people won't do it. People will just take whatever the talking heads on TV tell them and they'll just go with it. That's the problem. That's where we are now. Is that people are just accepting whatever the hell's coming on TV and they won't follow it up. So whatever, man. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you guys. Take care and do some research. Do some research. It's really interesting. Whenever you hear somebody say something and you actually go look it up, you find it out. It's mind blowing. It really is. You guys take care, and I shall see you next week, maybe sooner. If I keep thinking I'm gonna like do videos from work because I can just set up my laptop right beside the computer and just talk. I've thought about it, but I don't know. All right, you guys take it easy.